this what you
what's with
remember,
the
Anna?
light? That is what I remember. Oh my gosh, like a beer. Today's recipe is in honor of my grandma Aida. When I was a child, my grandma made a lot of money selling this drink at the farmer's market every summer. The drink is called kvass, and this is there are different variations of it, and this is a bread kvass. It's a very chilling, refreshing drink that's fermented, which obviously means live bacteria. Really, really good for gut health and just overall immune health. Unless, of course, that you have yeast allergies, then this wouldn't be good for you. And in honor of my precious sweet Babula, whom I miss more than words can explain, an unbelievably special woman. In her memory and in her honor, I will show you how to make this summer drink. I mean, you can drink it all year round. Just in the summer when you come in from mowing the lawn or, like weeding your garden and you're all hot and sweaty and you want to cool down with a pleasant drink, kvass is the way to go. At least that was for us. And I will show you how to make it. And the first step is we need to toast the bread, and it doesn't matter what bread you use. Right here I have a combination of cinnamon raisin bagels, some leftover ciabatta bread, and right here is a tray of just plain white bread. And my oven is preheated to 400 degrees, and I'm going to toast it until it's dark. It just needs to be very, very well toasted. And let me mention real quick one word on bread. It is absolutely highly recommended to use rye bread when you make kvass, because this bread gives it a full-on, that significant kvass flavor that is known to people in Eastern European cultures. It's really a game changer. Rockets up the flavor of your kvass a few notches. However, if you make it with just regular wheat bread, it will work. I toasted this tray at 400 degrees for 30 minutes. And yes, some pieces are burnt, like very crispy burnt, and that's perfect because it's going to give us that very deep color to our kvass. I'll show you in the final product. You'll see what I mean. That beautiful amber color that is very characteristic of beer and kvass. 1 gallon of purified clean water, bring to a boil. To the boiling water, add 1 cup of white sugar. Turn it off and start to dissolve the sugar. I poured that hot water into a 1 gallon pickle jar, but I left some space for the bread. And it's important that we add it to a very hot boiling water. As you can see, it's all still steaming. About a 16-ounce loaf. We will mix really, really well. Alright, so this has cooled now. It's close to room temperature, and I'm going to add just regular raisins. So just a small handful, just like this. Alright, and now all we need to do is top it off with room temperature water. We need to leave some room on the top, because as it ferments, it'll the fermentation will cause bubbles, and it will actually push the bread up to the top. A little bit more water. Yep, that's good. And here we are. Now we need to cover it with a piece of cloth, put a rubber band over it, and put it in a dark place for 3 to 5 days. 3 days if your kitchen is nice and warm, and if it's slightly cold, then it might take up to 5 days to have that fermentation going. And if you're really impatient, you can add half a teaspoon of active dry yeast to this, stir, and it'll definitely kick off the start of fermentation. And every day, unfold the cloth piece and gently stir this just on the top bit to push the bread down like this, and keep looking out for those bubbles as you're stirring. As you can see right now on day one, there's already light fermentation going on. The bubbles are always the best indicator. And put the cloth and the rubber band back on and leave it again till the next day, and repeat. Gently stir and check for the bubbles. When there's lots of bubbles, it means we have active fermentation, and it's time to strain it through and bottle it up. 2 days later, going to check on our kvass, see how it's doing. And what I'm looking for is the amount of bubbles as the sign of fermentation. Watch this. So here's the jar. What I'm going to do is shake it gently, and that's what I'm looking for. The sign of active fermentation is all these bubbles. So if you have used half a teaspoon of yeast in yours to speed up the fermentation, yours might be ready after 24 to 36 hours. If you did not use the boost of yeast, just the natural yeast that occurs in the sourdough starter, or yeast that's already in the bread that we toasted, then the fermentation will be slower. Like I said, at day 2, I'm not quite happy with the amount of bubbles that are rising up when I gently shake it. So I'm going to stir it and leave it for another day and check again. And when I see lots of bubbles, this is usually day 4. This is when I will strain it and bottle it up. All right. If you used yeast in this will be a day later. If you chose to do long fermentation without yeast, just the bread, this is 3 days later. I would say 3, 4, 5, depending on the temperature of your kitchen. You hear the fizz? Look at the bubbles. Fizzy like beer. And before I strain it, here you go. You hear that? That fizz is a characteristic of a beautiful fermentation. So I take a slotted spoon and I remove the breads and raisins. Look at the bubbles. Oh, this is so good. Oh, it's like sparkling water, but with lots of healthy probiotics. Like so. And time to strain it. And now it's time to test it for the sweetness. If you feel like it's not sweet enough for you, then now it's time to stir in a little bit more sugar. And I'm going to bottle it up in these kombucha jars. Look at the fizz rising up. Is this amazing or what? And I put a tight seal on it, closed it really tight, and I'm going to keep it under a towel because this ferments like the dark. And I'm going to leave it on for half a day to 1 day on the counter, and then I'm going to put it in the refrigerator. And right here it's sitting next to the white kvass made on the sourdough starter. It's delicious. It tastes slightly different from the bread kvass. And right here I have my home brewed kombucha finishing its second fermentation, because I absolutely firmly believe in eating and drinking fermented things for the gut health, because I believe all of our health issues kind of float out of unhealthy gut, not enough good bacteria in our tummies. So to fix these health problems that me myself personally also battling right now, like allergies and some other stuff, I am putting a heavy emphasis on fermentation. And I'm inviting you on the journey to join me to create your own homemade ferments, which are much cheaper than buying them from the store. And then we will refrigerate them, chill them, and enjoy a refreshing, delicious, healthy drink. Whenever we strain it and bottle it up, we need to save 1 cup. If you do 2 cups, your fermentation will go faster, but 1 cup is plenty per gallon, a gallon of your new brew. And we also need to save about it's up to you, half or 1/3 of the soggy bread that was in our first ferment, and add it to the future brew, the beginning of your next brew. I would save about 1/3, and then begin the process again. Do the sugared water with the toasted bread, and then I will add this and a cup of the finished kvass. All right, so we got it opened, and
Today?
yes. Oh, it's amazing.
Is this
Oh,
what you
what's with
remember,
the
honey?
light? That is what I remember. Oh my gosh, like a beer. All right, there is Mr. Gravy trying the Eastern European bread drink called kvass, fermented drink. What do you think?
It's very much like a light beer.
Yeah?
A lot of flavor.
Like good?
Mm-hmm.
Mmm.
It kind of tastes like having a toast followed by carbonated beer.
Mm.
You want to try it?
I do want to try it. You bet. Okay. There. To my grandma. To Babula. Yep. To Americans, the closest would be light beer.
It'd be like light beer, but it tasted like toast in the morning.
Yes, yes, yes.
And I think really chilled, it'd be really good.
For sure.
Like really crisp cold, I think would be
Yes.
amazing.
That's how we drink it.
This is like
Yeah,
room
just a
temperature, and it's pretty
yes.
good. But I think like that really biting cold, I think it would be.
Yeah, that is how we drink it. It's really cold. And also, if you notice, this has notes of cinnamon in it and raisin a little bit. That's because I had leftover cinnamon raisin bagels that I toasted and put it in it. So whatever bread you use will definitely affect
Yeah.
the flavor.
I wonder what, like, remember that cinnamon
Cheers!
bread that we were gonna make?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yes.
That we're like a
Well, it's like
couple
the
pieces of
cinnamon
that.
bagel.
Yeah. I like it. I think it'd be maybe with an ice cube in it. Of course,
I have ice right there.
that would water it down.
This is healthy and good for you, yes. So, out of 5, from a scale of 1 to 5, Mr. Gravy gives Russian kvass.
I would go a 4.5.
Yay!
But it might get more once it's like chilled.
Yes.
It might go up to a 5 for a health drink.
For sure. I think you will give it a 5 once.
No, I would compare
chilled.
it to the kombucha boop.
He means kombucha.
That's the stuff. Yeah, that's no good. This is good.
Yay! Next, we're gonna try the white kvass. Alright, guys, something I forgot to mention. If you leave your fermented drink on the counter for like 2, 3, 4, 5 days, this will turn into alcohol and you will be, what did Papa Bear say? You will be what?
Drunk?
No, that's not what
Crunk?
you said. He said, you will be
Crunk.
as you drive. So, if you want this to be just healthy, refreshing lemonade like, love it, just a chilling drink, then keep it on the counter for 1 day after you bottled it and then put it in the fridge. If it sits more than 1 day, it will start turning into alcohol and it will be like beer. It will not be like vodka or anything, but the amount of alcohol will definitely go up. So it'll be like drinking beer. So that was worth mentioning. See you later.
See you later.
Cheers.